They assumed this 8-pound, completely deaf and toothless senior dog was just going to quietly fade away in a shelter kennel. But they had no idea what was waiting for him behind a front door in San Diego. Arthur was a ghost. For years, he wandered the chaotic streets of Tijuana, his tiny body worn down to the bone. When the Atu Foundation finally pulled him off the concrete, he was exhausted. He was transferred to Dachshunds and Friends Rescue, where he sat in a clean bed waiting. But as the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the reality set in. People want puppies. They don't submit adoption applications for an 18-year-old medical mystery who can't hear them call his name. For 384 days, Arthur watched families walk right past him. He didn't understand why he was always left behind. It seemed like his story was quietly coming to an end. But what happened on a random Tuesday morning changed everything. Heather was scrolling through rescue profiles when she saw Arthur's face. She didn't just feel pity, she froze, gripping her phone tightly as she stared at his spindly, fragile legs that barely looked strong enough to hold him up. She didn't care about his age or his medical needs. She just grabbed her car keys. When Arthur first stepped onto Heather's living room floor, he paced like a tiny, nervous shadow. He moved painfully slow, testing the hardwood with his paws, expecting this sudden comfort to disappear. Heather didn't force it. She sat on the floor, sliding a bowl of soft food toward him, just letting him breathe. Arthur was finally safe, yet he was still trapped in his own silent, isolated world. But what happened by the third week in that house was something nobody could have predicted. Heather had another senior dog named Ace, and Ace was completely blind. Instead of clashing, something incredible happened. Ace started trailing behind Arthur. They began moving through the hallways like two old souls who perfectly understood each other's rhythm. Arthur would actually slow his pace, deliberately pausing so Ace could gently bump his nose against Arthur's back. The deaf dog became a quiet guide for the blind dog. Heather would stand in the kitchen doorway, pressing her hand hard against her mouth to keep from making a sound, just watching them navigate the house together. Because Arthur couldn't hear, Heather had to invent a completely new way to speak to him. She started using gentle, specific taps. A soft touch on his shoulder meant she was there. A light stroke on his back meant it was time to eat. One afternoon, while Arthur was sleeping deeply on the rug, Heather sat beside him. Instead of startling him awake, she just kept her hand resting gently on his chest until his breathing shifted, and he opened his eyes, realizing he wasn't alone. If you have ever sat on the floor at 2 a.m. just to make a rescued soul feel safe, or if you've ever built a language entirely out of touch, you know exactly what this feels like. Whenever Arthur felt unsure, he would shuffle over and lean his entire 8-pound body heavily against Heather's ankles. It was his way of asking for grounding, and every single time she would drop to her knees and hold him. Now his true personality is finally spilling out. The terrified street dog is gone. Instead, he rolls onto his back, flashing a goofy, toothless smile, just to get Heather's attention. He doesn't know how much time he has left, and neither does Heather, but he knows exactly where he belongs.